Every organization has this years and years of super important knowledge that's just blocked away. It's in old documents, forgotten projects, or, let's be honest, it's all in the heads of a few key people. But what if you could build a tool to unlock all of it? Well, today, we're going to break down exactly how one engineer built an AI chatbot to do just that.
It all kicks off with a problem that I think we can all relate to. This quote right here from Avi Kleinman. He's a veteran engineer at his company, Tyrannus, and it just nails the pain point. He basically became the human Google for his team, constantly getting pulled away from his own work to answer questions about old systems.
And this really gets to the heart of the issue, the classic knowledge silo. It's a two-sided problem, right? On one side, you've got the company veteran, whose brain is now a bottleneck. And on the other, you have mountains of documentation that nobody can seem to find or use. It's there, but it might as well not be.
So, what's with the number 8? Well, that's how many years Avi Kleinman had been at his company. For 8 years, he was soaking up all this institutional knowledge, especially about the older, kind of creaky parts of their systems. He basically was a walking, talking database.
Now, here's the thing that's so interesting. Avi did everything right. He was, as he puts it, a responsible adult, and he documented everything. So the problem wasn't a lack of information, not at all. It was an access problem. The answers were all there, just buried somewhere deep in Confluence, lost in this ocean of documents.
Okay, so you're getting interrupted constantly, and the docs you wrote aren't helping. What do? Avi decided to tackle the problem head-on, once and for all. And this leads to the big idea. What if he could build a chatbot that could just read all that documentation for you?
The goal was simple, but wow, was it powerful. Anyone, and I mean anyone in the company, should be able to just ask a question, in plain English, and get a correct, relevant answer that's pulled directly from their own internal docs. No more bugging Avi, no more digging for lost files. So how on earth do you build a bot like this? Well, the secret sauce, the magic ingredient, is a technology called RAG. We're going to hit pause on the story for just a second to really get what this is, because it's the tech that makes this whole thing possible. So what is RAG? Okay, let's break it down. Retrieval Augmented Generation, let's just call it RAG, is basically a technique that gives a regular AI model a new superpower. It gives it the ability to look up information in your private documents before it tries to answer a question. It connects the AI's big brain to your specific internal knowledge.
And this slide, oh man, this slide just nails the difference. Think of a traditional AI like it's taking a closed book exam. It can only use what it already has in its memory from its training, which could be months or even years old. And that's why they sometimes just make stuff up, what people call hallucinating. But a RAG-powered AI, that's like an open book exam. It gets to look up the answers in your notes, your documents, first. So the answers are based on facts, and it can even show you its work by citing the sources.
The process itself is actually pretty logical when you see it laid out. First, you ask your question. Then, the system does a super fast search across all your documents to find the bits and pieces that are most relevant. Step 3, it bundles those relevant texts together with your original question and hands the whole package over to the AI. And this is the crucial part. It tells the AI, hey, generate an answer using only the information I just gave you.
Okay, tech lesson over. Let's get back to Avi's story. So building this thing wasn't like flipping a switch. It was a journey. A process of building something, seeing what broke, and then making it better, one little problem at a time.
This timeline gives us a really nice bird's eye view of that evolution. It started super simple, just a prototype on his own machine. Then he had to figure out how to scale it for the whole company. After that, it was all about tweaking and refining, making the answers more relevant, adding more places for the bot to read from, and just perfecting the quality of the answers. Let's dig into a couple of these. So right out of the gates, they hit their first big snag. People started using it, and the answers were kind of all over the place. A developer would ask a super technical question and get an answer that was clearly pulled from a support team document. The context was just totally wrong. The fix was actually pretty brilliant in its simplicity. They added a filter. They just tagged every document with a domain, like R&D or product. So now users could tell the bot, hey, search only in the R&D docs. And boom, the relevance of the answers shot way, way up. But you know how it is, you fix one thing, and suddenly you spot the next problem. Avi quickly figured out that a ton of that essential tribal knowledge wasn't even in the official docs to begin with. It was scattered all over the place. So the solution was obvious. Just expand the bot's reading list.
They pointed it at the places where developers actually keep important notes, the README files in their GitHub projects, and even the public Slack channels where they solve problems all day. That's the beauty of RAG. You can just keep feeding it more and more text.
This got them so much closer, but it led to this final, more subtle issue. The bot was finding the right pieces of info, but the answers it put together were kind of jumbled. It was like it was quoting random, disconnected sentences from 5 different documents. The answers just didn't flow, and they were missing the bigger picture.
And this was the real aha moment, the breakthrough. Instead of just giving the AI a handful of sentences, they changed the logic. Now the system finds the single most relevant chunk of text, figures out which document it came from, and then feeds the entire document to the AI. That gave the AI the full context it needed to write a really good, coherent answer.
All right, so the engine is built, the tech is perfected, but now for the final piece of the puzzle, the user experience. I mean, a tool can be the most powerful thing in the world, but if it's a pain to use, no one will. It had to be seamless.
And where did developers live all day? Slack. It was a no-brainer. Instead of making everyone go to some new web page, they brought the chatbot right into the tool that the whole team was already using all day, every day. You gotta meet people where they are.
And the final workflow is it's beautiful, so clean. A developer just types a /command /devask and then their question. The bot instantly replies with thinking, just to let them know it's on the case, and then a few seconds later, it delivers the full sourced answer right there in the channel.
Here's a fun little technical detail for you. Slack is really strict. It gives you only 3 seconds to respond to a command like that. But the whole RAG process can take longer, so they came up with this clever engineering hack. The bot's first response is just a simple thinking acknowledgement. That happens instantly. Meanwhile, a background task is doing all the heavy lifting, and it just posts the real answer back to the channel whenever it's ready. So smart.
And that brings us right back to the beginning. The result of all this work, the prototyping, the tweaking, the clever integrations, was that Avi's original problem got solved. The constant interruptions stopped, the company's knowledge was finally unlocked, and he could get back to his own work.
This whole story is just such a fantastic example of solving a real nagging business problem with AI tools that are actually pretty accessible now. And it really leaves you with one big question, doesn't it? What's the hidden, unwritten, tribal knowledge in your own organization that's just waiting to be unlocked?